Welcome and thank you for watching. Today we dive into one of the most unexpected transformations in the automotive world, the journey of a Chinese fridge parts maker that now owns some of the most iconic car brands on the planet. The story begins in the early 1980s in China, where a young entrepreneur named Li Shufu opened a small photography shop which he soon expanded into a camera business, generating his first million yuan by 1984. This initial success taught him how to spot market needs and adapt quickly, so when refrigerators became more common in Chinese homes, he shifted into producing fridge components, founding a small company that would eventually become Geely. By 1987 he launched his own fridge brand called Arctic, but when government regulations forced him to halt production, he pivoted once again to manufacturing aluminum-magnesium alloy plates. Li never stayed still. He always observed markets and shifted his business accordingly, adapting quickly to change and seeking growth wherever he saw opportunity, even if it meant entering completely new industries. In 1993 he spotted a demand for affordable mobility and acquired a state-owned company to start producing scooter components, eventually developing China's first domestically made scooter. Despite having no engineering background, he and his team learned by dismantling and studying existing models piece by piece, turning trial and error into innovation one bolt at a time. The success of his scooters sparked a new ambition. Li began dreaming of building cars, even though the idea of a private Chinese company making automobiles was almost unthinkable in the 90s. At that time, state-owned giants ruled the auto sector and foreign brands were the gold standard, but Li wanted to prove that Chinese firms could match their engineering and design excellence. He bought a Mercedes-Benz, took it apart completely, and studied every detail. Although his team failed to reassemble it, they learned enough to design their first Geely prototype by 1996. In 1998, Geely launched its first production car, the Haoqing, a budget-friendly vehicle loosely based on the Daihatsu Charade, which sold well despite being criticized for poor quality and lack of originality. These early models were seen as cheap copies, but they filled a market gap and sold in large numbers, allowing Geely to become one of China's rare private car manufacturers. Li listened carefully to customer feedback and responded by investing in better engineering, improving factory tools, and aiming to produce vehicles that could compete with international standards. He understood that brand perception was crucial, and Geely needed to move beyond its low-cost image if it wanted to succeed not just in China but on the global stage. But in the early 2000s, the reputation was hard to shake, with many still viewing Chinese cars as unsafe, unreliable, and far from meeting international expectations. Geely's attempt to export cars faced skepticism, especially after one of its models scored only 10% in a crash test in 2003, damaging public confidence even further. The brand became a symbol of China's industrial growing pains, where affordability often came at the cost of safety, innovation, and trust in foreign markets. Yet for Li, this wasn't just about business, it was about national pride, proving that China could build world-class cars and overcome the stigma of being a copycat manufacturer. In May 2007, Geely issued the Ningbo Declaration, a bold public commitment to abandon the low-end strategy and focus on quality technology and long-term global competitiveness. It marked the beginning of a new era. Geely started pouring resources into research and development, upgrading its technology, and aiming to raise the bar in all areas of design, production, and service. New research centers were opened in Hangzhou and Ningbo. Nearly half the company's workforce was redirected toward R&D, with a focus on making safer, better engineered, and more desirable vehicles. Geely aimed for ISO 9000 certification, modernized its plants, and began developing new engine platforms, safety systems, and digital features to compete with global carmakers. Progress was slow but visible, with each generation of models improving significantly, delivering better handling, reduced fuel consumption, and enhanced structural safety. The perception of Geely cars began to change both at home and abroad, and sales in China started to climb again, while international observers began to take notice. If you're enjoying this journey, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to stay updated. We bring you stories like this every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Years later, the CEO of Volvo Cars, Håkan Samuelsson, would say no one believed in Geely back then, but today it surprises no one anymore, a statement that captured their astonishing evolution. In 2010, Geely shocked the world by acquiring Volvo from Ford for $1.8 billion, making it the largest foreign auto acquisition ever by a Chinese company. Ford had paid more than $6 billion a decade earlier, but failed to turn Volvo profitable, so when Geely stepped in, it was viewed as both a gamble and a masterstroke. Li promised that Volvo would remain Swedish, keeping its headquarters, leadership, and design autonomy intact to preserve the brand's identity and reassure customers and employees. A joint coordination committee was set up to ensure technology sharing followed strict safety and quality standards, and that both brands benefited equally from the partnership. Initial disagreements arose. Li wanted larger sedans for China, while Volvo preferred smaller, safer models, but a compromise was found with each side retaining its core philosophy. Soon Volvo returned to profitability. Sales surged especially in China, and Volvo gained access to growing markets while retaining its luxury reputation and brand integrity. The collaboration birthed the compact modular architecture, a shared vehicle platform used by Volvo, Geely, and Lynk & Co., allowing multiple models to be built on a single high-tech foundation. This shared architecture led to enhanced safety, better features, lower costs, and faster development cycles, helping Geely to close the technology gap with Western competitors. The partnership also produced joint innovations like the 1.5 turbo engine and the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, now found in many Geely and Volvo vehicles. Geely had proved that Chinese companies could rise globally not by copying, but by collaborating, learning, and investing in long-term engineering excellence. In 2017, Geely acquired a majority stake in Lotus, the legendary British sports car brand known for its lightweight chassis and cutting-edge engineering. Lotus was struggling financially, but Geely saw potential and invested heavily, modernizing its operations and enabling the launch of the Avija, a groundbreaking electric hypercar. Geely didn't seek to change Lotus but to support its DNA while helping it adapt to modern demands and share its expertise in lightweight materials and chassis design across the group. Through Lotus, Geely expanded into high-performance territory, raising standards in segments it had never touched before and boosting its image in Western markets. In 2019, Geely and Mercedes-Benz formed a joint venture to relaunch Smart as a global all-electric brand with design led by Mercedes and manufacturing based in China. This partnership combined German design and branding with Geely's electric technology, giving both companies a competitive edge in the premium urban EV segment. Not all of Geely's growth came through control. In 2023, it became the third largest shareholder in Aston Martin with a 17% stake without taking over operations. This allowed Aston Martin to expand in China while giving Geely insights into ultra-luxury markets and a foothold in one of the world's most prestigious car brands. Geely carefully chooses its partners, supports them without absorbing them, and lets them retain independence to avoid the stigma of made in China in high-end segments. This behind-the-scenes strategy allows Geely to uplift brands, preserve heritage, and earn credibility in markets where origin matters more than price or even performance. China's go-out policy encouraged global expansion, making it easier for Geely to acquire brands and access advanced technologies through mergers and partnerships. But mistakes were made. In 2009, Geely unveiled a concept car too similar to a Rolls-Royce, leading to criticism and accusations of imitation that damaged its reputation. Learning from this, Geely redefined its design language and by 2011 focused on originality and intellectual property protection rather than copying others. In 2018, Geely sued WM Motor for stealing trade secrets, and in 2024 won the largest damages ever awarded for industrial theft in Chinese legal history. Earlier missteps like the Luhu trademark controversy, which mimicked Land Rover, had shown the cost of brand infringement and pushed Chinese courts to enforce stricter IP rules. Beyond legal battles, Geely also faced operational issues like the parts shortage crisis in the Philippines in 2023, which sparked widespread customer complaints. The company responded by opening a new parts center in Laguna, restoring customer trust and proving its ability to manage international after-sales logistics. These experiences taught Geely to balance cost, quality, and branding, and to invest in R&D, design, and customer experience as key pillars of its global strategy. Collaborating with Volvo, Lotus, and Smart raised Geely's standards and helped it meet the demands of a competitive global auto market while refining its long-term goals. The Smart Geely 2025 strategy outlines bold targets, including over 2 million vehicles sold annually, with at least 1 million from new energy brands like Galaxy. Facing rivals like BYD and Xiaomi, Geely aims to build an intelligent mobility ecosystem powered by artificial intelligence, alternative fuels, and connected systems. Geely wants to integrate AI into every step of vehicle development by 2025, while investing in supercomputing centers and satellite internet for real-time connectivity. Sustainability is also core. Geely plans to cut carbon emissions per vehicle by 25% by 2025 compared to 2020 levels, with 18% already achieved. It uses recyclable materials, zero-waste factories, and energy-efficient processes, with brands like Volvo and Zeekr sharing their green innovations across the group. Challenges remain. Geopolitical pressure, cybersecurity, and regulation will test Geely's resilience and adaptability as it enters even more advanced markets. To stay ahead, Geely partners with companies like Qualcomm to improve chip design, while expanding hydrogen and methanol vehicles in regions best equipped to support them. International growth is projected to exceed 15% in 2025, especially in markets like Europe and North America, where regulations are strict and standards are high. Through Smart Geely 2025, the company seeks to evolve from a budget brand to a global leader in intelligent, sustainable transportation for the next generation. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, subscribe now, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and click the next video to explore more amazing business transformations.